Join us here in New York is Kerri Kupec Urbahn, Fox News legal editor, used to be at the Department of Justice. Kerri, just talking a little bit about the money, you know, people over the last week or two have been saying, where's the money come from? This would seem like something that the Department of Justice or the FBI, and KJP kind of alluded to this yesterday, it seems like something they should be looking into, because it's not just, you know, it's not a peaceful protest. There is an apparent conspiracy across the country at these campuses to spread this anti-Semitism, which is illegal.
Oh, for sure. And the Department of Justice and the FBI can look into it. I know that they can, because when I was at DOJ during the summer of 2020, post George Floyd, that's exactly what we did. We were looking to see where that money was coming from. Was it traceable to, say, Antifa? And that's, you know, one of the ways you hunt this down. You look to see where are they getting these gas masks? It's not like they're picking them up from 7-Eleven, you know. It's someone
who's buying the tents.
Who's buying the tents, and it's certainly something that the department and the FBI can do, and I hope they are doing right now.
When you look at what these people are going to be charged with, if you go by New York, not much. They said of the at Columbia, about 170 of those 300 people are getting summonses, that 100 are either desk appearance tickets or the cases they're going to run through the system. Out of the 280 arrested, nobody is going to jail. So what is going to be the lesson there? They're as light on crime as New York. So are they going to go on the bus? They're going to get fingerprinted? They're going to be let out? Are they going to get a parking ticket?
They shouldn't be. I mean, there are a number of laws that, just looking at this tape right now, I can see that being potentially broken. Trespassing, vandalism, you know, resisting arrest. There are a number of things. Destruction of property. And these are the things that we saw during the summer of 2020. And I have to tell you, it's bringing back a lot of memories, especially because during that summer, it wasn't the protesters who got hurt. It were the police. That's right. There were many police who were injured, and seriously injured, as these protesters would throw things at them. They'd throw urine, they'd throw feces, they would throw rubber bullets, mace. It was terrible.
So Kerri, I got to ask you this, because New York Counterterrorism yesterday released some information, and one of them is Sami al-Aran, who pled guilty to conspiracy to provide services to the Palestinian Islamic Jihad back in 2006. Well, his wife was seen at one of the protests in Colombia, and they said that she's one of the people that's leading these protests. She doesn't live, she's not a student at Columbia, but she's organizing and getting these young people almost radicalization happen in real time. So what can the Department of Justice do to stop these outside actors from radicalizing our young people?
Well, the discovery of that woman, I think, makes it easier for DOJ and the FBI, because, you know, there's always this fine line: free speech and not profiling people based on their beliefs versus violence or threats of violence and terrorism. So the fact that that woman was discovered on campus and has ties to terrorism makes it a lot easier for them to look into the funding, work with the State Department, and work with our law enforcement partners abroad to see what exactly is going on here.
And the man, her husband, was deported because he pled guilty to conspiring to provide services to the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, but then he posted on X a picture of his wife at one of the encampments on Columbia and saying that she stands in solidarity with the brave and very determined Columbia University students. So the question also is, do you want a woman like that influencing young minds on these college campuses? But there are also other things, Kerri, that have taken place. When you look at the Death to America chants in Dearborn, Michigan, and I know that there is a level of free speech that comes into play here, but do you think that the DOJ, given the gravity of what's going on these college campuses across the country and how those chants could actually incite violence, that there are eyes on these people investigating, looking into who they are?
Yes, because there's a difference between saying death to America and you're just gathered somewhere saying that versus you have weapons or you're committing crimes as you're doing that. It opens the door for the department and the FBI to get involved in a much more easy, clean way than they could otherwise.
So Mayor Adams yesterday said there's people in a coordinated event corrupting the minds of this next generation of Americans. This is anti-American behavior, but there's insidious forces behind it. Democrat. I mean, this is something Democrats and Republicans should be on the same page as. However, Democrats are so concerned about November losing the Jewish vote and losing the Muslim vote and the Palestinian vote. They're thinking more Dearborn than they're thinking more about us. Speaker McCarthy just wrote me too and said people need to thank the police for their professionalism. They've been unbelievable. I think we all agree on that. They've been doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Make the people who fund these groups pay for this cleanup.
Yeah, who's going to clean all of this up? That's another question.
I was talking to one of the superintendents at Columbia yesterday, and he told me that he can't send his guys in there, so they have to hire an outside company to go clean the building. This situation is way larger, so I can only imagine how much money it's going to take. Who's going to pay for to clean this?
The tuition money from UCLA, probably.
Yeah, right.
Kerri,
not that much.
Kerri, we, a little while ago, were talking to a medical student by the name of Eliana. She's had friends who were attacked, and you know, she has lived in fear over the last period of time. But she was talking about the toxic relationship with social media. Social media has had so much disinformation out there. We're back in an election year. Back in 2020, you remember this. The Department of Justice, the FBI, there was content moderation where suggestions were made to different social media companies. We're now in another election season. It's pretty much hands off. There's no more content moderation, and that's one of the from the Department of Justice, because they don't want to appear to have their finger on the scale. That's one of the problems now. There's no referee on what is true and what is not.
Meta has dialed down all political
But
speech.
not TikTok. She was citing TikTok.
Yeah, and look, the owners of these companies could really step up, just like the leaders of these schools should step up right now, and they can say, look, you can say what you'd like to say, but we're not calling for the extermination of Jews. We're not calling for Intifada. We're not doing all of these things.
There should be a red line.
Right, and there can be, and an easy one, given what happened on October 7th. I mean, anyone who's read those accounts or watched those videos, what they did to women alone is so appalling, and the fact that you see hundreds of students across the country protesting in support of this
crazy.
rape and the violence is unbelievable to me, just as an American, as a human being.
There's the legal aspect of taking care of this, but some of these kids, where are the parents? I mean, I covered Freddie Gray when that mom saw her son on TV protesting out of control, throwing stuff at cops, and she left her house and grabbed him by the neck and brought him home. Where's the leadership in the household that are just watching our kids become radicalized, say things that are anti-American, post other flags that aren't the American flag, say that our cops are part of the KKK? There's a role of the parents here too, right?
Yeah, and I would also say that these students at their core are operating in an incredibly selfish way.
Yeah.
Think about the resources they're pulling away from Los Angeles right now with these police.
Understaffed
all of these police
department.
that have to be here, and they're not taking care of, emergencies that are happening across town, and this is happening across the country. Putting these officers' lives in danger, it's remarkable.
Wow.
If you think about the self-centered nature, actually, of these protests, it's quite something.
Kerri, here's something. Where are you going today? You're going to cover the Trump trial,
I am,
right?
yep.
So guess what? Alvin Bragg is going to be sitting in that courtroom all day. Do you know there's massive unrest, anti-Semitism running rampant at City College, at Columbia, at NYU, at FIT? Those are just off the top, and now Fordham. You would think that the resources we're putting into trying a former president over 2009 incident that was brought about 2016 election, now we're in 2024. Think about the money, time, and effort on that as opposed to where it belongs.
Yep, and all to in an attempt to put the former president in jail for classifying something as a legal expense that many people could argue is a legal expense, considering it was compensation for an NDA.
Let's bring in Jonathan Hunt. Kerri, stand by, who's been following this with us all morning long.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.